Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Dr. Elizabeth Hood. I'm the CEO and founder of Infinite Enzymes, and we're located in Arkansas in the US. Next slide. Our vision actually is to eradicate all the forever chemicals that humans have created. So this presentation is vastly different from everything you've been hearing about with computer chips, et cetera. This is very biological. Next slide, please. Our opportunity is that Infinite Enzymes offers a solution for these forever chemicals. Through our patented biotechnology platform, we have generated a unique enzyme, a biological solution that degrades PFAS and other harmful chemicals. Next. So you ask me, what are PFAS? Well, we have several examples of these over on the right-hand side of the slide. They are polyfluoral alkanoates, which is why we call them PFAS, and they never degrade in the environment. And they're in many, many of our consumer products, such as stain-resistant coatings for clothing, carpeting, and furniture. But one that you probably are all familiar with is in nonstick cookware, which is Teflon. And we all have used Teflon in our lives. And this Teflon can chip off and get into your food. And why is that a problem? Because these PFAS create awful health risks. They have been shown to cause cancer, birth defects, and a whole lot of immune system problems, as well as interfering with hormone activities. And the firefighting foams are of particular interest to us because our first AFWorks grant, we also are a phase 1 awardee, is to try to remediate the PFAS that are in firefighting foams for the Air Force. Next slide, please. So how do we generate this unique enzyme? Well, just like a computer language offers a platform technology for creating applications in a variety of different industries, we use a plant biotechnology platform that allows us to create new enzymes that are invaluable to daily life. Next slide. Our solution includes an enzyme called MNP, or manganese peroxidase, that we are proposing to put into a filtration apparatus that will completely remove PFAS from the water that is contaminated with them and give us safely remediated groundwater and tap water. And this is really important. It's not just a filtration system, but an actual degradation system. And the manganese peroxidase that we make in our corn platform is actually less than $5 a gram, which is a really small amount. But our nearest competitors make this for $24,000 a gram. So it's a significant savings. Next slide, please. Our competitive advantage, of course, is low cost, $5 versus $24,000. We have a green technology. In other words, our platform is completely just plants, and it can also generate additional products that can be sold, such as starch and oil. There's no need for a fermentation facility. We just plant more corn. Next, please. Our potential customers are actually the manufacturers of goods. And even though I gave you the example of an individual application, such as trying to get rid of Teflon in your food, the real market potential is with the manufacturers of consumer goods, such as cookware companies, fast food packaging companies, stain and fire resistance coatings, and paint manufacturers. And most interestingly for us is the Air Force. Next slide. So we've raised $1.2 million to date, all the way from our own personal investments to a private investment and a number of different grants, as well as some sales. Next slide, please. We are asking for a Series A at $3 million for our production facility, our product construction and implementation, and as well as our deregulation for our genetically engineered corn line. And in particularly, we are looking for an MOU signee for our AFWorks phase 2. Next slide. Our roadmap is to do these 3 things over the next 3 years. And finally, our team on the next slide. We are a family-owned business. We have the three hoods plus an operations consultant, our first angel investor, and our strategic officer, Karen Wilson, who is also on the call today. Thank you, and I'd be happy to answer questions.
I can ask, thank you for the presentation. It's very interesting. Maybe can you highlight a little bit on why your competitor has such a high price point versus you? Is it something fundamentally to the technology, or is your competitor is the status quo charging up because they just feel that they can?
It's a great question, and I'm glad you asked it. The technology that, okay, so manganese peroxidase today is a fungal enzyme, and when you culture it in a fungal system, it has a very limited ability to make large quantities of it. And so our technology, and it's because it's a single cell, and these enzymes cause terrible things in single cells. So if you accumulate a lot of it, it's very hard on them. When we accumulate it in a corn system, it has no activity in, and we can store it inside the corn seed and build up very large amounts of it. So it causes it to be a much lower cost.
Okay.
Does that help?
Okay, so the biology is already proven that this will basically do its job. Only thing is, yes, you're able to build it in a much cheaper, scalable fashion.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you.
Can I ask one quick question too? Sorry, is this, are you envisioning this on the, you said you're targeting manufacturers as your
target
manufacturing
market
side. So is this to be used during processing, or is this during, like when you're done with your nonstick pan?
This is in the manufacturing of nonstick cookware, because there's a lot of Teflon waste, of course, that comes out of that. But actually, our first target market, we hope, is the Air Force, to try to remediate the firefighting foams and the, the de-icing sprays that go on to airplanes before they take off, because in the wintertime. Both of those things create a huge problem with groundwater, because it's runoff and then it runs into the groundwater, and then it starts to get in drinking water. So it's becoming a real problem.
So it's effluent. You're treating. You're in the effluent stack, or whatever, the processing. Gotcha.
Yes, and as well as catchment after use. So those are the two ways that we can resolve some of this problem.
Elizabeth, this is Dana. I wonder if you could speak to the the regulatory risk, I guess we would say, around getting the corn product, the modified corn, approved by regulators. Where are you in that process, and do you have kind of a timeline? I know a lot of times when we deal with like FAA and others, they operate on a completely different time scale than we do. I just wonder if you could talk about those conversations.
The FDA, you mean?
Sure.
I have worked a lot with USDA and FDA, and we've had many discussions about this. The regulatory timeline is about 12 to 18 months to get completely deregulated. We currently grow it under permit, so as long as we can show containment of the crop up to 1,000 or 2,000 acres, it's not a problem as far as the regulatory agencies are concerned, but we really are looking to get it deregulated within the next 18 months. And the USDA has really lowered the barriers to getting things deregulated down. So I think it's possible.
Thank you for that.
Yes.